Okay, so today we're going to take a look at Pleiadian science. This is something I have been familiar with for quite some time. All right, so it should be known that all perspectives, which are theoretical, okay, all theoretical perspectives, which includes Keylontic science as well as Pleiadian science or anything else in between, is worth considering. So this is just another perspective, and it's a very interesting one, okay? So, Pleiadian science. This particular account comes through a gentleman by the name of Randolph Winters. Now, this is in correlation to Billy Meyer, and I know there's a whole lot of controversy with Billy Meyer. I'm very familiar with that. But at the same time, it's important to be open-minded and just listen to the account and listen to the information because, as you know, or should know, you're in a world that always wants to squash anything that is truth, anything that leads to the idea of liberty while being within this manifest reality. And perhaps, just by chance, you may start to recall the reason why you came into this field to begin with. Okay? So, Pleiadian science. Now, according to a particular group of Pleiadians, our universe is inside a much larger realm of creational energy that the Pleiadians call the absolutum. There are 10 to the 49th power, that is 10 with 49 zeros, number of universes in this large and most incomprehensible realm of spiritual energy. They have only, that is this particular group of Pleiadians, have only been able to experience traveling in one other universe so far. But they have some understanding that each universe seems to be slightly different in size and development, yet are similar in shape. It is believed that the absolutum is within an even greater creational force. The spiritual energy of the absolutum is called a creation. Let me repeat that, okay? The spiritual energy of the absolutum is called a creation. A creation does not exist in material form. It is intelligence in a form commonly called spirit. It is a non-material living form of life made up of all the spiritual energy of the life forms that are within it. This large body of creational energy called the absolutum is a living life form itself and must continually strive to evolve. Evolution is learning. Every living form in the universe is part of the creation and contributes to its evolution. This is very, very interesting. Did you notice what is being communicated here? And this is something that I've known for a very long time. And when I had this sense of awareness and when I had come across this, it really kind of just threw me a bit. The reason why it threw me a bit is because I started to feel what it was saying because I knew it before. I'd known this before. A large body of creation energy called the absolutum is a living life form itself. Okay, that's a no-brainer. But here's the thing. And must continually strive to evolve. Why must it do that? That's a program, my friends. Do you know that this is this is one of the things that I'm going to go ahead and say stuff that I started to say when I first begun this channel over a decade ago that I'm going to now go ahead and communicate. When I was starting to speak on this, I stopped because it was just too overwhelming for me. I just said, no one's going to listen to this, and I don't even want to hear it myself. When we're talking about programs exist on a much higher level than you think. And I'm not saying this to spook anybody. This is just important just to know, at least it is for me. Okay, you can totally ignore all this. But when this was brought to my attention again, many years ago, I just seen, I seen a depiction. Now, I'm not saying this is what it is, but this is the depiction I got. Being in a petri dish held by somebody within a lab coat. And I don't know if anybody's talked about this before, but I'll tell you what, it's something. All right? Something to consider. All right, enough said. I'm not going to say any more about this. I'm just going to proceed. All right. Okay, so first, the creational energy of the absolutum has a thought to continue its growth by creating a new material universe. This thought is concentrated until it becomes a unique consciousness of its own. If we could see the energy of this small thought, we would discover that it has the shape of an egg. The small thought is floating in a large pool of spiritual energy in the absolutum between already existing universes. This small thought has contained within it the idea that it would like to create a material universe. This little thought takes up no more room in the absolutum than a flea. The creational spiritual energy of the absolutum is doing this so that it can continue to evolve as all living things must do. So what we have here is the absolutum has taken a small part of itself and started a new creational spirit that will develop a new material universe. So for clarity's sake, we can see the absolutum as being the original creation and that which is created within it being the new creation. The spiral. Okay, so after an undetermined measurement of thought, our new creation is still a small thought that is reasoning and figuring out what it must do to grow. Since thought is energy in motion, a close examination would reveal that it is moving in a spiral formation. The spiral is a multidimensional pathway that directs the flow of energy of this small thought. The spiral pattern was naturally created by the original creation, the absolutum, when the thought was formed, and it will control the flow of energy of the new creation forever. That's a code or pattern, structure, design, right? A multi-dimensional spiral pattern would be, well, for all intents and purposes here in 3D land, really impossible to draw, but this depiction gives you an idea of what we're talking about. The spiral pattern is the way energy flows in the creation. It dictates the flow of energy that contains the spiritual knowledge of the creational energy. Again, we're seeing a code. Another way to describe it is code here, right? Command structure, right? Now, what does this remind you of? Does it remind you of electromagnetic fields? Because everything is in motion, right? Energy is in perpetual motion all the time. When you're thinking, when is it that you're never thinking? Again, we're looking at the idea of different language being used for a lot of the same things. Now, this predates Keylontic science. This information predates. And as we get into this more, you'll start seeing much more depth. The Sohar. The knowledge contained within our small thought is oscillating along the path of the spiral in a pulsating fashion. What does that remind you of? KS students, anybody here? What does that remind you of? Pulsating fashion, flash line sequence, on and off, fusion, fission. Okay, so it is growing in intelligence very slowly. After billions of years, the small egg-shaped energy spiral has evolved its understanding of how to continue its growth and explodes into a bright light called the Sohar. Okay? Some may refer to this as being the Big Bang. Okay? So anyhow, along with some help from the original creation that started it, the tiny new creation has expanded to the size that it needs to be in order to develop the material universe. It has literally pushed its way in among the many other universes in the absolutum and taken over an area where it will be developing into the new material universe. Okay, so at this point, there is no stars, there's no material matter, there's only spiritual fine matter, as it's put, that has the wisdom and knowledge that it has learned over these billions of years of reason. And of course, with a little help from the original creation that started it. All right, so the Sohar now appears between the many universes in the absolutum and has just contributed to the evolution of the original creation and to the new creation by virtue of its experience. Okay, so our new creation will always be a combination of spiritual energy and material matter, but at this point, only the spiritual matter exists, for it is still evolving to the point where it understands how to create matter. This is a slow process and takes trillions of years because the new creation is slowly gathering knowledge which must be learned step by step. Never can a life form jump ahead in development. It must always learn everything through a slow process of experience. This is a fact that rules all life forms. You might say that it is one of the first laws of creation. All right, folks, that concludes part one here. Some things I agree on, some things I disagree on, but I'm not going to say which those things are. It's the same thing with chelantic science. You know, I agree with certain things and certain things I just don't. So each to their own, all right? I would like to take this time out to say this for those who have listened thus far. For many of you, well, I don't know if it's many, but I'll say a few of you, you're aware of my situation over the last 3 years, okay? This last year specifically, I've been hospitalized 4 times for my heart. And financially, I'm in a hole. I've been trying to get help. I've been trying to get assistance ever since this thing started, okay? I went through all the money that I had trying to help myself, and when I had my upper cervical instability went south, it was a nightmare beyond description, and nobody knows that except for myself. But I was alone with what I was doing. I had to figure things out while I was going through all this, and it was maddening. And things just never stopped. One thing after the other. Like I said, within the last year, I was hospitalized 4 times for my heart. I won't take another blast to my ticker. I can't handle this stress that I've been under and everything like that's been going on. I mean, you know, I let go because I have to, right? But still, I got this financial burden and everything. You know, I get behind on this rent far enough, they'll evict me and take my property away from me. So nothing's changed. It's best that I actually sell this place. So I'm in the process of trying to do that. And I know I've been saying that I've been wanting to do that. goodness gracious, it's a lot of hard work, folks. It's it's not a magic trick, and especially somebody who's ill and screwed up as I have been. I've been trying to get help, and I can't get any help from anybody to help me do it. So I can't really give the time to this channel anymore. I've been here for a great deal of time. I sacrificed a great deal of my life to give what I have. I don't have any children. I haven't a wife. I have no family, none to really speak of, meaning my brother and a sister, but, well, that's a different story. We never really been a family. Just a name, an acquaintance, and mainly acquaintances, I guess you could say. But I can't do what I've been doing anymore. My Patreon, I get enough money through that, which would allow for me to maybe buy groceries for a week. That's how much. It's none of this is sustainable for me. Okay, and I can't do this anymore. It's just too much pressure for me, and I can't do it anymore. I just can't. So I'm not looking for suggestions. I'm just looking for help. If you can't give me help, then, there's really two things that I need. Honestly, you want to hear the honest truth? It's the truth. I need energy and I need finance. That's what I need. Energy, and then energy in the form of money. That's what I need. I don't need any advice. I don't need any of that. That's it. So if you're willing to do that, that's great. If not, that's none of my business. But I will probably not be putting out any more videos. I'm not going to do anything after this. I said this was part one, but it was just tentative. I guess this is more of a platform for those who are willing to stay to the end to hear this part of it. That's pretty much what it is. So, all right, folks. If things change, I'll stick around. If not, I won't, because I can't.